United States submarine base at Key West, Florida. A dispatch that quoted President Truman's press secretary, Charles Ross, as saying that President Truman has no knowledge of any secret project by this government that would give substance to the existence of such objects. Ross also said that both the Air Force and the Navy deny that such objects...
The window is never big enough for me to click record, so whenever I'm like, yeah, let's do this rock and roll, then I have to expand the window, and then I have to go to recording.
Yeah, whatever update just happened that made everything like disappear, that you have to like press more, is so stupid, and I hate it.
Yeah,
but
like I know we've been through a lot, but that's literally the most inconvenient thing that's happened to me.
I'm like, put the fucking UX designers of Zoom on the horn, because this is some bullshit. Dude, this is absolute bullshit.
Or the fact
not user-friendly.
The fact that you can have Zoom like on a minimized window, but if somebody joins into the meeting, it immediately like maximizes the window again, is like the bane of my existence.
That drives me fucking crazy. I bet there's a setting somewhere, but like I'm too stupid to figure it out. And that should be the default, okay? Yeah. It should be the default to not fucking extend it. Anyway.
So like I'm trying to like show someone something, they pop into the Zoom and I'm like,
yeah.
And I have to like go fucking find it and minimize it again.
Or when they start sharing a screen, it also does the maximize. It just, you know, it's the little things that will drive me insane and make me write a manifesto.
Yeah, same. I will write a manifesto about the inconveniences of Zoom. Also, thank you, Zoom, for letting us record our podcast for free every week.
We don't technically do it for free. I have the unlimited plan that our work may or may not pay for, so. But I need it for meetings.
I also need it.
I need it for meetings, so whatever. Anyway, hey, what's up? My name is Noelle, and I am having the most unfortunate beverage because this specific can of LaCroix, fuck you, came to the beach with us, and I obviously didn't drink it, so I put it back in my fridge, and it is caked in sand, so every drink I take is a little gritty.
It probably has way more flavor now than it ever would have before. And I'm Chelsea. I'm the salt around the rim of a margarita glass.
Oh, we are on a little bit of a Margaritaville kick. I don't know if anyone has seen, before we get into the episode, I don't know if anyone has seen the absolute gift to humanity that the Margaritaville Crocs collab is, but when I say it's absolute and utter perfection, oh boy, do I mean it.
You have to sign up for like a lottery to even buy them.
To be given the opportunity to buy them, you mean? Yeah. Because I get it.
The draw is closed. Did you sign up for it?
No, I didn't, because if there's a Croc store, you can also buy them from there.
Oh.
But I just figured we had one.
Yeah. I don't know if we have a Croc store. We have
Don't say that to me.
We have like retailers that sell Crocs. Like
because they're already going for a lot of money, like resell.
Crocs store near me. Dude, I don't think we have a Crocs outlet near us.
Shut the fuck up.
I think we have like fantastic footwear, but that's not.
Shut the fuck up.
Let me look.
Shut the fuck up.
So I'm looking in Ogden. You're looking in Salt Lake, I'm assuming.
Crocs. Is it outlet or like Crocs store?
I went to crocs.com/crocs-store-locator/stores.html. It's only bringing up like famous footwears.
The closest one is in Vegas.
And we didn't sign up for the lottery. That's all.
I'm gonna kill myself. Oh my god! But go look them up. They're beautiful. If you live by a Crocs store, I'm a size 9 in women's, which is a size 7 in men's, and Chelsea is a size 8 in women's, which is a size 6 in men's. So let us know.
Oh my god.
I can't believe this. I can't believe this, honestly. I can't believe this.
I would go to Vegas.
I would, for the Crocs, dude? Fucking yeah. Well, I mean,
I would go for the Crocs, but I would intermix enough things in there that it wasn't just for the Crocs.
Hear me out on this. So, God, sometimes he listens, so whatever. I was cleaning up like my partner's junk drawer today,
Mm-hmm.
and he just has money laying around everywhere. I found over $100 in cash, and then I found like it was over $100 in chips from the Flamingo Casino that he forgot to turn in for money. So
Yeah.
like, and I'm like, does he even know they exist? Because they're just like floating around.
Yeah.
So I could just like take his casino chips,
Dude, that's what I
and
was gonna say.
we could pay for the Crocs
But
in Vegas.
I just want to send you something. Please look at your Slack.
Sold out.
Sold out.
So that's online. That's got to be online. Who lives in Vegas? I need someone who lives in Vegas. No, not
Make your
just Vegas.
sister drive like 3 hours to Vegas and get them for us.
If anyone lives by a Croc store, maybe if you live somewhere like Wisconsin. Actually, I don't know. I feel like Wisconsin is the most poppin' when it comes to Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Where do we go? Who doesn't care about Jimmy Buffett? If you're in Alabama and you have a Croc store near you, I feel like Alabama isn't Jimmy Buffett. Do you know what I'm saying? I feel like that's not their vibe. They're not. Maybe they are.
I don't even fucking know. Utah is the best place.
Who isn't Jimmy Buffett? Oh my God. If you live by a Croc store, please go tomorrow. If you're listening to this Friday morning, please take your lunch break and go and see if you can get us Crocs. We'll send you podcast stuff and pay you, obviously.
Yeah, we'll pay you.
We'll send you Crocs.
These really cool like tie-dye platform Crocs.
No, it's not. You can't. Don't. Are you fucking stupid? You know this. Everyone. Look at the Margaritaville Crocs. They are margarita green, tie-dye with white.
They have a bottle opener on them.
The sport mode strap is glitter green gorgeousness. They have a little salt shaker on as a giblet. Those are what those are called, giblets, the little things you put in your Crocs. There's a salt shaker giblet. There's a shot glass giblet that is usable. There are ice cube giblets. There's a lime giblet. And then on the side of the Croc, it's a parrot, because parrot heads. Mm-hmm. Parrot bottle opener. God, why did I think I was like, I literally envisioned a fucking Croc store at Fashion Place Mall, which is like 15 minutes from me. And I was like, I won't pay the $5 shipping. I'll just walk my happy ass over to Fashion Place tomorrow and buy them. Literally throw myself off of a bridge.
I opened up the lottery and my phone offered to autofill it for me. And I think I was like, I'm stupid and lazy. And then I didn't even I could have still had a chance. I robbed myself of happiness consistently. And then I wonder why I'm so fucking miserable.
That's it, dude. That's the quote right there. That's the fucking problem. Oh my God. I wonder
how am I supposed to talk about anything?
How my mom goes to Trader Joe's like once a month in Vegas because she's obsessed with Trader Joe's. That's as close as it is to her. I wonder if she's going anytime soon.
Please.
Hold on. Let me I know that this is podcast, but let me go ahead and do this real quick. Tell mom.
Tell her that
hey, are you and Donna going to Vegas anytime soon? Chelsea and I missed out on doing the raffle for the Margaritaville Crocs, and we don't have a Croc store near us. The closest one is in Vegas. So if you guys happen to be going to Trader Joe's or something, if you could stop and pick those up for us, we'll pay you. Okay, love you. Thank you.
Tell her I'll kill myself.
That's the other thing is like, so my cousin Donna has a P.O. box out in Vegas because that's where they get their alcohol delivered so they can get around the liquor laws.
That's fucking brilliant.
Hold on a minute. Okay. Send. Let's see. Oh God, if God is real, she'll be like, oh, I'm going to Trader Joe's this weekend. I'll go.
I wonder, your mom I feel like your mom would make the trip just because she's so fucking momish, like, this'll make the kids happy. Your mom will message me and be like, are you eating vegetables? Like,
it's true.
She just checks in and I'm like, yes, Mom, thanks for checking in. She's like, I just worry about you kids.
I know. She had to bully Chelsea recently.
Yeah.
With love. Bully with love, I should say. But God, I fucking hope. Actually, my cousin was just at Red Rocks for a concert. I wonder if she's driving.
I feel like we're trying to like get a fucking fix on drugs right now.
I can buy drugs easier than I could buy the Margaritaville Crocs, and that's the fucking problem. That's the fucking problem.
Oh my god! You know what kills me? We were so on the ball for the axolotl Build-A-Bears, and then we're just pissing in the wind when it comes to true limited dreams.
You want to know the problem, and I'm gonna go ahead and just place the blame elsewhere. With the axolotl Build-A-Bears, we had multiple people on that wait list. Yeah. Like, I didn't even sign up for the wait list. Ty put his email on the notification when it's back in stock wait list. He got the email. He immediately purchased it and then sent it over and was like, tell Chelsea if she wants to act on this now. I just got the email and I just bought it. Yeah. So it wasn't even our fundamental flaws. That's the problem. This was the Margaritaville Crocs were just you and I hoping anyone would pick up the slack. I'm not saying I'm blaming our partners right now, but the Margaritaville Crocs were announced in a group chat with everyone, and they didn't proactively read our minds, so I will blame them.
We're shitting on the fashion of them, which it's not my fault that your smooth brain can't understand fashion.
Speak to your man, because Ty is a big fan of the Crocs and he's a big fan of Jimmy Buffett.
I think Oliver does like Jimmy Buffett, but he doesn't appreciate fashion.
I just you look at those and it's like you're wearing art. To me, it's like wearing a Picasso on your feet, I feel.
You're absolutely right.
Oh my God, what the fuck are we gonna do here? Okay, anyway. Now we have to I don't even know what to do a whole entire fucking episode about okay.
Now I gotta look and pretend that I care about this shit.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. I have to pretend like I fucking give a shit.
I have to talk about Pat Robertson. Pretend that I care.
I have to talk about televangelism and pretend like my mind isn't thinking about who I know that lives next to a Croc store. Are you kidding me? God. Are you kidding me? Oh my God.
Why isn't there a Croc store in Utah? The
Explain that to me.
Nursing students that we have. That's our main export is nursing students. And what do nursing students wear? Fucking Crocs.
You're so right. God. Ugh. Okay, it's fine.
I don't know what to do.
We'll get them. We'll get them. We're gonna manifest it. Put it out into the open. We'll get it. We'll figure it out.
So when you do the art for this episode, try to put a Croc in there.
I'm just gonna do the Margaritaville Crocs, and I'll put like Pat Robertson's face as a giblet. Because like people should really know the meat and potatoes of this episode, which is getting us the Margaritaville Crocs.
It's the only thing that matters. Everything else is just like bullshit at this point.
Filler. It's all fucking filler at the end of the day. God. Nothing. It doesn't matter. How many
pages? We have to talk about 5 pages of this fucking nonsense. Single slides.
I can't believe I have to do this right now after I've just been delivered horrific news.
I just watched a car accident in which we were the victims, and now I got to pretend I'm okay.
My brain and my heart were in the driver and passenger seat. No seatbelts, no airbags. Just flew out the fucking front. God damn it. You know what I want to think, though, because we're having a barbecue tomorrow, and it's going to be a Jimmy Buffett-themed barbecue now. So, do you have a Hawaiian shirt?
Yeah, I have the Trixie Katya one.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. I feel like as long as everyone is wearing Hawaiian shirts and wearing socks with sandals, we'll manifest the energy that'll get us the Margaritaville Crocs.
I mean, I have the Crocs that have like the flames on them, but they don't have holes in them for giblets.
I have platform Crocs.
That's actually. All I want.
Mega platform Crocs. They're not even Crocs anymore because they're so mega that they had to be like altered. But it ain't no Margaritaville Croc. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you the fuck that right now.
It's someone spit in your face and told you that it was water. That's what it is.
Yeah. Like after I was forced to do a triathlon, but the triathlon was exclusively all quarters of it being the desert. And then they said, here, have this glass of water. And it was spit in my face.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's like, what a disappointment. God. Anyway, it's okay. We're going to figure it out. It'll happen. Okay. Let me fucking try to get it together.
I haven't read The Secret, but I know enough about it that I feel like we could manifest it.
Let me write this on a piece of paper 3 times in all directions and then roll it up and blow it out the window.
Dude, let's do one of those Etsy hexes that we were gonna do.
Yeah,
forever
there's gotta be a fucking bitch on Etsy who will do it for $3 and she'll manifest me and you getting these Crocs.
Oh my god, that's all I want, man. I want to pay retail price though. I can't afford.
I am not
eBay
gonna
cost.
pay the fucking $300. That is, you know what? How am I supposed to 5 o'clock somewhere if that's the prices I'm paying? That's 9 to 5.
Yeah,
that's
I
9
can't
to 5
afford.
all day, everywhere. Not 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah.
That's clock in, baby. That's second job.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
God,
There's no lift, laugh, love in those conditions.
absolutely not.
Ugh.
Fuck. Okay, it's fine. We'll figure it
Jimmy
out.
Buffett, if you hear this.
Jimmy Buffett. I know that you're an avid listener.
Oh, everyone, please tag Jimmy Buffett.
Please help.
I really need a win.
Please help us. I just need this one fucking W. Please give it to me. This one.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Man. Okay. Anyway, I just imagine myself like wearing the Margaritaville Crocs to the club, like in a slut dress, and then my Margaritaville Crocs, and I'm just like, damn, that's it right there. That's the fucking vibe.
I have that sequin ensemble where the top is the eyeballs and then the shorts is the mouth with the tongue hanging out. I wore it to the Boo Paul party. That with the Margaritaville Crocs. Oh my god.
The energy is immaculate, honestly.
Or the Miley
Also-
Cyrus Coke dress.
The Miley Cyrus Coke dress would be good. Also, think of like just everyday pajamas, Margaritaville Crocs. It automatically like puts you in party mode, I feel.
Yeah, imagine like running errands in those. Is it even
All
an
I'm
errand
saying-
at that point, or is it
No,
just a party?
It's a party. Absolutely, it's a party. All I'm saying is that, like, I'm not a doctor nor a professional, but if you suffer from depression, I think if you bought the Margaritaville Crocs, you would be cured. I think.
I'm not a doctor yet, but I'm becoming a doctor of cryptozoology, and I can guarantee.
I'm a doctor in theory, as far as I'm
a
concerned.
theoretical doctorate. Imagine it's your family, and it's an entire boat full of orphan puppies, and someone was like, you got to open up this beer, and it is not a twist top, and you fucking just bloop, you saved the puppies.
They're like,
You're a hero.
open up the beer or all the puppies die. And you're like, well, good thing I have my Margaritaville Crocs on.
Bloop, bloop.
Oh my god. And then what if someone's like, I need to drink water. And then you just unscrew your shot glass giblet and you fill it with water and then you save a stranger's life.
Oh my
So,
god.
It's crazy. Oh man. Anyway. Okay. Let me.
I have another one.
What?
The world's tiniest yet deadliest atom bomb, and it can only be contained. The tiny little shot glass.
Yeah.
The deadliest spider.
Yeah. Oh
And
my
you gotta
god, yeah.
contain it.
There's a deadly spider in the room.
On top of your
And-
orphan puppy's bed. Their
And then
crib.
you've got the shot glass to catch it and then safely remove it and put it outside because you understand that all animal life is precious.
You fucking Hitler, you don't want me to have these Margaritaville?
I'm saying it's almost like a crime a little bit
Yeah,
against
you don't
humanity.
appreciate the sanctity of life?
Yeah. Also imagine you're walking by like a movie set and they're like, who forgot the prop ice for this very important scene where, like a James Bond type character is swiveling his glass of whiskey and I'm like, surprise, I have fake ice cubes on my Crocs.
And they're like, my God, someone give this girl an Oscar.
She's
Except
gonna
for
be
life.
in our award ceremony speech and be an accredited contributor on the film.
Yeah.
So
You're lost in the middle of the fucking Amazon, and then you need to befriend local wildlife, but they don't know if you're tight until they see the fucking parrot on your shoe, and they're like,
that is true.
that's one of us.
That is true.
They swoop down, and suddenly you're wearing a blanket of birds.
Or maybe you're traveling on the seas and everyone is contracting, oh my God, what's it called when you need to eat lemons? Scurvy. Everyone is contracting scurvy.
But you eat the Crocs.
And they're like, but we don't know what a lemon or a lime looks like. And you're like, look do you see this? And you pull off your lime wedge from your croc and you go, do you see this? This will cure you. If you land on shore and you look for this will cure you of your scurvy.
They're like, yeah, or that ship goes down, right?
Mhm.
You flip those puppies into sports mode and slide them onto your arms like little baby floaties. You know you're not sinking.
Yeah, it's true.
You shine the fake, like you turn your arm and you shine the fake ice cubes in the sun. Helicopter pilot sees you from miles away.
Yeah. And then when you get in the helicopter, you can crack open a nice Topo Chico seltzered water, because those are bottle cap only, and cheers everyone and thank them for saving you.
And they're like,
you
my
had
God.
that bottle cap on here.
Yeah.
Croc. So anyway.
So sorry that you like want me to fucking die in the middle of nowhere on a boat, I guess, of scurvy and drowning.
Literally it. That's literally it. The only water available is Topo Chico, and we need a bottle opener to save everyone's life.
Yeah.
So anyway.
My blood is on your hands. That's what I'm saying. Our blood is on your hands.
That's what I'm saying as well. And also the countless people we could have saved by owning them.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay. Speaking of people who can't be saved, let's get into televangelism part 2.
Yeah.
And this one's a bit of a doozy. I decided, here's my problem. I understand that I have to explain them to you a little bit, but I fucking hate that. I hate it. I don't care about them or their shit or like, you know what I mean? I don't care about their rise to power. I know that's important to the story, but we had to like do so much of that I'm giving 3 good controversy breakdowns, and then we're going to go into a rapid fire of controversial statements and or predictions that he's made at the end. So,
oh, that's so fun.
Here we go. Marion Gordon, or Pat Robertson, was born March 22nd, 1930 in Lexington, Virginia, into a prominent political family, and he was the younger of 2 sons. His parents were, God, what a terrible name.
Demon name. That person is a warrior of Satan.
I know. Absalom.
They killed that motherfucker in season 3 of Supernatural. I know it. Absalom.
If you say that name 3 times in your living room, your furniture will start to levitate. You
will invert and float through your house upside down.
You'll start crab walking backwards on the ceiling.
They didn't even use any like effects for Toni Collette in Hereditary. She just said Absalom 3 times and then scuttled along the walls.
That's true. It's actually fact. Mm-hmm. So his dad, Absalom Willis Robertson, a conservative Democrat senator. Keep in mind, this was back when Democrats were actually, when it was flipped. When Democrats were actually Republicans, Republicans were actually Democrats as far as policy and theory goes. Mm-hmm. So just keep that in your pocket. And Gladys Churchill, his mother, whose credentials are listed as housewife and musician, which is fun for her.
It's fun.
The nickname Pat came from his brother, and this is just like an FYI because I looked at his name and was like, how the fuck do you get Pat from Marion Gordon? He considered Marion to be effeminate and going by M. Gordon as like too stagey, too flashy. So he opted to just go by his nickname Pat. And the nickname Pat came from his brother. Pat would blow up his cheeks, you know, and his brother would like pop him and go pat, 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 pat. So it's kind of cute and wholesome.
Yeah, that's sweet.
That's the only sweet thing about him. So let's get into it. Unlike most of the cult leaders and televangelists I've learned of, there's no record of him being this like suave or charismatic guy. Just like anyone like Jim Bakker, Oral Roberts, fucking Jim Jones. They all
like the charismatic leader that people follow.
Yeah, they always have a history, and especially documented in childhood, of being like, you know, stagey. Even think of like Joseph Smith, like they're charismatic, and it's been noted throughout their life that they have this like
je ne sais quoi. Yeah,
exactly. That is not the case with Pat. He received honors from prep school to university. So he's like a really diligent student. Maybe it's the fact that he was born into money as to why he like didn't need to rely on charisma to like get him to the top. Who knows? But that's my guess. Pat did also join a fraternity and was quoted saying,
Oh my God.
do you like that? Although I worked hard at my studies, my real major centered around lovely young ladies who attended the nearby girls' school.
He did. So you just know, like, it doesn't take a genius to know that he probably got where he was because of the money, and then he didn't have to fucking work hard because of, again, the money.
Oh boy, are you going to absolutely fucking co-sign on that statement with
Oh, I'm
what
so
about to
fucking
talk
happy he
about
got
next.
drafted. Yeah, I just read the sentence ahead.
Well, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I also want everyone to know that, like, he made, well, how can I say this? I'm going to fast forward a little bit and then come right back.
Okay.
So, like, this comment about him, like, just wanting to be, like, a fuckboy, essentially, like a 1940s fuckboy, would be whatever if he didn't go on to become the founder and head of the 700 Club, which is to this day the most prominent and dominant religious network ever.
Yeah, it's you can be an asshole and be a fucking frat guy that we all know and hate, or you can be a living, thieving, conniving piece of shit.
Yeah, it's like, it's just, to me, knowing that like he said this when speaking about his like time at university just is like, it makes perfect sense why he said all the other shitty things. Like, it just,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's such a sentence that would like preview into him being like a motherfucker. So
Well, because here's the tea. Nobody else has that luxury unless you're born into money. Like, we can't go to college and just piss away our time there. We have to do the fucking grind, and most of us have to work full time in order to even go to college. And it's like, even then, we're not going to be successful after. So the fact that this guy was just guaranteed success anyway, am I jealous? Yes.
Of course, absolutely. So, in 1948, the draft was reinstated, and he was given the option of joining the Marine Corps or being drafted into the Army. He chose the Marines and was transferred to Korea. And if you remember above, when I said Pat doesn't have the same starlight-seeking qualities as someone like Kenneth Copeland, who we covered last time, they do have something in common. And I know you probably read ahead as to what it is, but it's worse than blonde hair. It's a little something we call stolen valor. So,
what is stolen valor, Noelle?
Well, stolen valor is either lying about your military service altogether, as in you weren't in the military at all, or lying about what happened to you during your military service. And he's that. Whereas Kenneth Copeland definitely like lied about his military service and let people infer that he was. Pat, if you thought university was a free ride for Pat, oh boy, do I have something to tell you. So, we're going to jump a tiny bit ahead again. We're going to go into the future and then come right back.
Okay.
September 1986. Pat announced his intention to seek the Republican nomination for President of the United States. And I just want to pause here. Remember when I said the 700 Club was one of the most powerful and predominant Christian networks to ever exist ever, and still is?
Yeah.
I mean that with my entire chest, because he had a pretty fair... no one thought he would win against Bush, HW, but... Yeah. He had it was a pretty close race, and he like pretty comfortably took second. So just power and money,
terrifying.
Baby.
Yeah,
I know.
terrifying.
It's absolutely terrifying. So Robinson said he would pursue the nomination only if 3 million people signed up to volunteer for his campaign by September of that next year. And unlucky for us, they fucking did. And they raised millions of dollars for his campaign in the process. He was, as I said, campaigning against the incumbent Vice President George H.W. Bush. Pat ran on the standard conservative platform And as a candidate, he embraced the same policies as Ronald Reagan, notorious motherfucker, terrible. Reaganomics don't work.
Mhm.
He was actually getting pretty close to second until this happened. Former Republican Congressman Paul Pete McCloskey Jr. served with Pat in Camp Pendleton, which you'd think cool, like he's got a pal and like running mate, essentially, like endorser in this. But during his campaigning, Pat was going around telling war horror stories of his heroism during his time in the Korean War, and Pete had something to say about that. Pete contradicted Pat's statements about his Korean War service. Pat first claimed that he was a combat veteran back in 81, which made Pete go like, what the fuck? Since he had been shipped to Korea with Pat and saw almost the opposite of that. Pete wrote a public letter to U.S. Representative Andrew Jacobs Jr., who was a Marine veteran of the Korean War as well, and said that Pat was actually spared of combat duty because of his powerful father, U.S. Senator. He goes by A. Willis, by the way, because he doesn't want people to
No, his fucking hex name. Yeah.
They know he doesn't want to be summoned. It's like if someone said his name in the bathroom in the mirror, he would appear like
He's like the Candyman. Yeah.
So A. Willis Robertson of Virginia, that he intervened on his behalf, and that Pat had actually boasted, like, to his, like, I don't know, what would you call that? Is it a platoon? I don't know what you'd call it. To the people around him in his military service,
your group.
Yeah, that his father kept him out of combat.
What a fucking piece of shit, man. Right in the middle of war to people in war.
Yeah.
In what I'm assuming would be combat. I don't actually know the statistics of any congressman actually serving in active combat, but that's not something you brag about.
Yeah, well,
Keep that to your chest.
He was doing it because, like, no one, okay, peace and love. No one loves a combat veteran military war story of, like, heroicism and patriotism and, like, you did it, you made it, than the fucking conservatives, okay? And if you want to, like, I fucking know that this bitch was like, if I need to beat, like, Bush Sr., I'm going to have to really put on a fucking show. And by put on a show, he meant lie about his military experience.
And the real tea is actual combat veterans don't want to fucking talk about it ever.
Yeah.
And they definitely don't boast about it.
Yeah.
Not something that most, like, the trauma and the PTSD and the fucking fallout and the way that the U.S. military absolutely shits on you when you're out of it and when you're in it. People don't want to talk about it. So that's a really good indication when people brag about being a veteran that you probably rode a desk job the whole time.
Oh, you're going to love what he actually did. But that's so true. Like, the only time I've heard veterans, like, tell their horror stories is when they're, like, they're in court or on trial to speak to the atrocities that the American military put them through.
Right.
So, yeah. Well, Pat tried to sue Pete for libel and demanded damages of $35 million. But I don't know if God was talking to Pat at this point, but yeah, you fucking wish he was saying something, because the research that was helped underwritten by Pete, it cost like over $400,000 to collect and like get all pieced together, proved that every single fucking claim made was true. Rather than being a combat veteran, Pat had been shipped to Japan right off of the USS Breckenridge, then spent most of his time when returned to Korea at the safe harbor of the division headquarters. Pat served as the division's, quote, liquor officer, responsible for keeping the officers' clubs supplied with alcohol, which is why he kept traveling back to Japan.
That was literally the only thing he was qualified for as a frat boy.
It's true. He did get the most qualified position. That is one thing the military did right, was make him the liquor officer. But definitely nowhere near combat.
It's
Evidence
so
of what? It's pathetic?
It's so fucking pathetic too, because like, dude, yeah, joining the military, like whatever, especially during this time, I think it probably meant a little bit more than where they're specifically it's World War I and World War II. Like those were definitely wars that mattered, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like Afghanistan and stuff like that, like that's like a harder pill to swallow. And so most people, if you just say that you served in the military, that's good enough for them. They don't really need to know what you did. But then to like make up lies to try to make yourself a war hero, it's like, ugh.
Well, my whole
Sad.
well, like 1,000% yes. And then my whole thing is like, so this is the Korean War, and he was drafted. Everyone, like men of the qualifying age, were drafted against
Yeah.
their will. They had
Yeah.
to. He was given a choice from the jump, and he was also able to like essentially jump the draft in a quote legal way because of his father's power. And there is nothing more like disgusting and revolting to me, because like I have my own opinions about people who join the military of their own free will.
Yeah.
I
It's crazy.
think it's crazy. I also think that the military positions itself to make people like be forced into the position to join because it's the only
Yep.
way that they could afford for school, healthcare, or
Yeah.
housing.
It's exploitative, 100%.
Exactly. And I also think that like I don't know, it's whatever. That's whatever. But like the fact that this was like during draft times, like there were people who were like anti-war. They don't want to brag about combat. They
Yeah.
don't want to have war stories. And they were out here fighting and dying, or
Yeah.
living with the trauma of something that they were forced to do.
Or
And
coming
then-
back and trying to do reform. Like, and then they birthed the hippies of the Vietnam era who
Yeah.
did have a little bit more political power to try to keep us out of the war. I mean, it obviously didn't happen, but yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's
it's
like-
it's a slap in the face to people who got forcefully drafted, didn't want to fucking go, died,
Yeah.
or came back horribly maimed, and then you have to listen to this fucking frat boy brag
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's what bugs me the most, right?
Yeah.
Because like it's one thing to this sounds horrible, but it's one thing to like lie about your service, like ever even serving, right? That version of stolen valor. But it's horrible, but it's like that's one thing. It's
Yeah.
another to be able to hide behind like, no, I did actually serve, you can see proof of it. And then just be a fucking
Yeah.
liquor runner, like as people died. There's something like extra nefarious and evil fundamentally about that to me.
Yeah, because like most stolen valor you see is just cosplay, right? It's like somebody who bought from a surplus store.
Yeah.
I understand that is annoying, and it is fundamentally wrong because it's not a club that you paid dues to be a part of.
Yeah.
I don't really have skin in the game on that one, but this is just nonsense.
Yeah.
Because it's how many people fucking died in the Korean War, and this guy's trying to get accolades and professional advantages by lying about that nonsense, you know?
Yeah.
And it would be remiss to say, like, I do have a sister who had a Purple Heart, an actual war hero, and they don't give you shit. They let you fucking die, and then they go, peace out, here's a fucking shitty polyester flag for your trouble. That's what you really get.
Yeah.
And
if we want to talk about sad numbers, so
let's hear it.
nearly 5 million people died in the Korean War. More than half of these, about 10% of Korea's pre-war population, were civilians. This rate of civilian casualties was higher than World War II and the Vietnam Wars. Almost 40,000 Americans died in action in Korea, and more than 100,000 were wounded.
And this guy was running liquor. Like,
Yep.
he's somebody.
And they say, historians say, like on the nationalinterest.org, on a per capita basis, the Korean War was one of the deadliest wars in modern history. The scale of the devastation shocked and disgusted the American military personnel who witnessed it, including some who had fought in the most horrific battles of World War II. So, just a little context there. Like,
Next, yeah.
you know what I mean? It's extra disgusting and grimy and like just ugh, like the fact that he did this and bragged about it. So,
And just,
it's rough. So, evidence in the libel investigation showed Pat's dad, Senator Robinson, thanking the Marine commandant for getting his son out of combat, by the time of the libel trial, which was scheduled for Super Tuesday, which I think is like kind of sick because remember he was like trying to get the candidate. A fuck ton of other Marine officers were prepared to testify, which also is that like never happens. Like peace and love, like it's
good old boys. Like
it's a good old blue boys line. Club. Yep. It's very, and they were like, nope, we'll turn on this motherfucker, no problem. Yeah. So they were all prepared to testify that Robertson had avoided combat duty. The day before the trial, Robertson dropped the libel suit, probably by the demand and pleading and begging of his lawyers because they knew he would fucking lose. And because of this and all the negative press that came around about it, he dropped out of the presidential bid and later on had to pay Pete's court costs.
I love it when justice is served, kind of. Real justice would have been, he just died.
I know. I agree wholeheartedly.
But at least he was publicly shamed, at least minimally. I assume that's where the episode ends. And
nope.
Oh, okay.
Well, no, because he hasn't even found God yet. So he didn't get enough punishment as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
So let's go back in time again.
All right.
Now we're back in the late 40s, early 50s, where Pat is, quote, fighting in the Korean War, said with winks and sarcasm. He gets promoted to first lieutenant in 1952 when returning to the U.S., and then went on to receive a law degree from Yale Law School in 55, and once again near the top of the class. However, he failed his first and only attempt at the New York bar exam. And before I continue on with this, I want to say Pat has had a history of performing very well from prep school to both universities and now law school. But when it comes, and I know the bar is hard, but when it comes to actually having to prove his knowledge on his like own, it doesn't happen. So
it's when push comes to shove, Daddy couldn't buy her way out of this one. Like, was he just doing well because of his father's political affluence?
Exactly. I cannot find anything to actually prove substantially how well he was doing and in what. I just find that he was, period. So
yeah, I'm sure I would have had all straight A's too if my daddy was a congressman and paid my way into law school.
Yeah. So, take that with what you will. So, but in the end, passing the New York bar wouldn't even matter because rather than going into the classical routes of business, like business law, he went into what I'd consider is the most lucrative business of all, religion.
Tax-free profits.
Oh, you know it. He attended the Biblical Seminary in New York and received a Master of Divinity in 1959.
Master of Divinity does just sound cool. It sounds like a class from
Hogwarts.
Dungeons and Dragons like class. Like you can be a sage Master of Affinity.
Well, I also think that it kind of is like peace and love to you and all the other religious listeners. I do feel like Master of Divinity is a D&D class because it's all made up bullshit that they're like, here's your degree on the hocus pocus. Congrats.
I don't know what this like master's program does. Because normally you get like a Master of Theology, which is essentially like a historical expert on all things biblical history. But like Master of Divinity, that one I'm not sure about.
My sister's ex, who's in a religious cult, is going to Pepperdine for a Master of Divinity. He also comes from a very wealthy family.
Yeah, it's people who can do this kind of bullshit and not get a real job.
Yeah, straight up. And that basically summarizes where there's family wealth, there's a way. Whereas other televangelists did kind of have to like use their charisma and like those suave cult leadery ways to like weasel their way into places and like I don't want to say work, but like
they played the game a little. They had to play the game.
Yeah, exactly. Most of them did have to like start off like in humble beginnings, which is also why like the hypocrisy of their like extreme wealth and spending and fraud is like so hurtful because people are like, dude, you literally came from like the trailer park.
Yeah, you're
Like, what
one
do
of
you-
us.
Yeah, you're not only you're like a class betrayer a little bit.
Yeah.
And but and then they always use those like humble beginnings, right? As like the way that they get people to believe them and trust in them because
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
It's the same pathway that like any MLM takes too. Like they're so fucking similar because most MLMs tend to have like super religious type of undertones to them too. And it's if you give me money by working hard, you can be me. But that's not true.
Oh, exactly. Like televangelism is a pyramid scheme, just like an MLM is. You get to like,
Yeah.
hey girly, do you want to make money? You know what I mean? Like do this and you'll be rewarded. Televangelists are like, hey, do you want to like be in the good graces of God and have your life be prosperous? Pay me and I'll make it happen. Like
Yeah.
it's the
And
same.
that's
fucking
exactly what they say. It's not even
Yeah.
that's not even like us being sarcastically shitty. That's like exactly what they say.
shit. No, 1,000%. The prosperity gospel is what they preach. But Pat didn't have to start from humble beginnings, obviously. He just got to do what he wanted. And in 1960, he established the Christian Broadcasting Network, which he started by buying the license of a defunct radio station. So that was it. You know, there was
I'm
no
so fucking jealous. Imagine if we had a radio station.
right. You just like do it. You just be like, yeah, let's buy that. Which this also is. We'll talk about where they get their name and why this is kind of silly to me. And they first broadcasted on October 1st, 1961. And by April 29th of 77, CBN, as it was called, or the Christian Broadcasting Network, launched a religious cable network, the CBN satellite service, which eventually became the Family Channel as we know it today. In 1977, CBN became the first direct-to-cable satellite-delivered television channel in America. So remember when I said all-powerful? Yeah.
Mhm.
It was so lucrative that not even the IRS could ignore it, stating that it could no longer continue to be kept under the tax-exempt charity. So, Pat, being a businessman at his core, spun off the Family Channel into a separate commercial entity that was sold to News Corp for $1.9 billion. Keep in mind, this was in like
the 70s.
Well, I think this sale ended at either the late 80s or early 90s. So 1.9 billion then still.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's like, oh my god.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
Fucking crazy. And then he rebranded to the 700 Club. And then let's talk about that name. So the name came about from apparently them almost closing, which doesn't make any sense to me, but makes sense if you think about he needs ways to fraud listeners into giving him money.
Yeah.
They said that it had a total operating budget of $700 per month to like run the show. So they held telethons at the end of every episode. Pat said if 70 members each contributed $10 a month, they'd stay open. And he called these members the 700 Club, hence the name. So explain to me how you can sell part of your business for 1.9 billion with a B dollars, but then you can't afford $700 per month.
Yeah, because he's a fucking liar.
Exactly.
That's the only way I can explain it.
Exactly. So let's wrap this up quickly, like I said, and get to the controversies because I'm so sick of fucking hearing about him already. Pat founded CBN University in 77 on their Virginia Beach campus, but it was renamed to Regent University in 1989. And again, similar to before, it's just like BYU, but for evangelicals. The 700 Club, as I mentioned, should sound familiar to you. He eventually gave hosting over to Jim Baker and Tammy Faye before she was pushed off the show. And Jim was caught fucking his male manager and defrauding the entire place. But whatever. The 700 Club was and still huge. If you want to see their garbage, they've evolved with the times and post a lot of their bullshit on YouTube. Pat finally had a platform big enough to scream for dominionism, which is the idea that Christians have the right to rule and all law will be governed and created by and under biblical law.
Oh my god, that's so fucking terrifying.
I know, especially when you think of like That I know came out so authentic. 'Cause, like, especially if you think of the fact that he was so close to getting the presidency and he
Yeah.
believes in literalism, biblical law.
We wouldn't have been able to mix our linens, bitch.
I know it.
We
That
would have had
shit-
gone to, the only thing I am cool with is like being banished from the home during my period so I could go like have like a nice relaxing getaway. But everything else is just terrible.
Dude, I am literally right there with you. So this is probably TMI for a lot of people, but who cares? I allowed myself to have a period for the first time in almost 7 years last month, and it sent me through a tailspin. And I forgot how bad they were and how inconvenient they are, how painful it is, how it fucks with you, like physically, how your body is just like in revolt.
Yeah.
And I had the exact thought. I was like, I just wish feminism could have held on to the period huts that women were sent away from.
Yeah. Or like even period leave once a month.
Yeah, I just wish. I just wish. Also, you're breathing into your microphone really heavy, so maybe feminism should teach you how to not do that. Get your shit together.
Is that better?
No, I think it's your nose. Keep talking.
I can't breathe through my nose, bitch. Listen to this.
Ew, God.
I can't breathe through my fucking nose.
That's just okay. Well, then
Don't ever accuse me of breathing through my nose.
Well,
again,
then it's your mouth breathing. It's your literal mouth breathing.
Yeah,
I
have
hear
to
your
only breathe through my nose or my mouth because I can't fucking breathe through my nose. We've had this discussion. How
I need
dare
you
you?
to not be such a fucking mouth breather and drooler into the microphone.
I genuinely wish I could just like absorb oxygen through my skin, but
get yourself a CPAP machine and fucking deal with it. So, anyway, let's get into controversies. My favorite part of televangelism.
Oh, fun.
So, in 1994, you're breathing again, bitch.
I wasn't even breathing that time.
Yes, you were. You're gonna listen back to this. This is just like every time I say you're doing something weird with your mic, and then you're like, no, that, and then you listen back to the next day, and you're like, you're so right. I'm so sorry for denying you.
Is this better? I moved my microphone like above my mouth.
Move it just a tiny bit down more, a little bit. Yeah,
Right.
let's hope that works. Okay.
I'm fucking sorry, man. I
don't know
what
why
to
it
do.
just happened in the middle of the episode. Are you like out of breath or something?
Yeah, honestly, probably. COVID hit me hard. I don't know what to do.
I get it. So anyway.
But this had also happened pre-COVID, so I don't know, man. Just bad genetics at this point.
I mean, I get it. Everyone had to hear me like cough and clear my throat. I've been trying to mute myself, but sometimes I can't, so sorry about it.
Same.
In 1994, in the aftermath of the Rwandan genocide, Pat solicited donations for his charity organization called Operation Blessings International to provide medical supplies to refugees in what is now present-day Congo. This just so happened to be where Patty Boy also had a diamond mining operation.
What in the world? So he was getting donations for an area where he had a vested business interest.
Yeah, and I don't know if anyone has seen Blood Diamond, but it's that. It is not. It is child labor and horrific conditions and murder and corruption and torture. So just,
My word.
2 Operation Blessing pilots were interviewed and alleged that the organization's planes were used to haul diamond mining equipment to the mines that Robinson owned. Pat denied these accounts, and much like all the other controversies overseas specifically, and like in offshore accounts that happen, there was no, they just kind of said, well, that's not our problem now, is it? Now, thank you for the diamonds, Pat. So,
Pat.
There's that. And then we have a 1999 article came out in the Virginian Pilot, and it alleged that Pat had business dealings with Liberian president and war criminal Charles Taylor, with whom Pat, according to the article, negotiated an $8 million contract for gold mining operations in Liberia. This man is in gold and diamonds, by the fucking way.
In Africa. Like,
yeah, like
exploiting people there under the guise of charity.
Yeah.
Where his literal charitable airplane is bringing shit to exploit the people there for labor.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And his gold mining operation was called the Freedom Gold Ltd. And this was an offshore company, but it was registered to the same address as like the Christian Broadcasting Network.
That doesn't seem legal.
Doesn't seem legal now, does it?
Yeah, would that fall under the same tax bracket of his Christian Broadcasting Network, which would be a whopping 0% tax?
Yes, but because it was an offshore company, there was no investigation done.
All the loopholes.
You love to see it. And he gave Charles Taylor 10% stake in his company. When the United States intervened in Liberia in 2003, forcing Taylor and the al-Qaeda operatives he was harboring to flee, Pat accused President Bush of, quote, undermining a Christian Baptist president to bring in Muslim rebels to take over the country, end quote.
After they overthrew al-Qaeda in the area, he said that?
Yeah. Because he didn't want to believe that Charles Taylor was a war criminal.
I can't believe he's going to make me defend Bush right now.
I know. Pat has denied any business dealings with Taylor, but on February 4th, 2010, at Charles Taylor's war crimes trial, he testified that Robertson was his main political ally in the U.S., provided documents to prove that. Pat still denies to this day ever meeting or speaking to Charles Taylor. So.
Dude, he just Mr. Magoo's it. Like, I ain't seen it. I'm real dumb.
He's like, I have nothing to do with that.
Oh my God.
I hate to sound ridiculous. I don't know who this man is. If he was walking down the street, I wouldn't know a thing. Sorry to this man. That's what he said. Yeah. And they were like, damn, okay, you're right.
So I can't argue with that.
It's speculation here, but I would say that his constant connection and ties to politics in the United States probably, allegedly, potentially could play a big part as to why he doesn't see any repercussions like all the other fraudster televangelists have.
Yeah.
So do that with what you will, and probably why he was able to get away with and still get away with owning fucking diamond mines and gold mines in Africa and exploiting people and working with war criminals. But
yeah,
praise God or whatever.
Oh my God.
And we wouldn't be covering televangelist if we didn't also cover all the shit they had to say about 9/11, which apparently was a lot. So let's go ahead and read a transcript from an episode of the 700 Club between Pat and his guest, Jerry Falwell.
I know, it's coming up.
Oh, yeah, On September 13th, 2001, okay?
So 2 days later?
2 days later. Chelsea, if you would please read as Jerry, and I will read as Pat.
Yeah, I want to get into character. I'm just going to quickly Google what Jerry looks like.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to try. Are you going to go with a hard accent on this?
I haven't decided.
Because I want to be like, what we saw on Tuesday, as terrible as it is, could be minuscule if, in fact, God continues to lift the curtain and allow the enemies of America to give us probably what we deserve.
Jared, that's my feeling. I think we've just seen the antechamber to terror. We haven't even begun to see what they can do to the major population.
The abortionists have got to bear some burden for this.
You're going transatlantic?
Is that not the same accent I was doing?
No, you're going like Great Gatsby transatlantic, but the book Great Gatsby, not like the
I don't
movie.
know what to do. I forgot what I had.
It's okay. No, keep doing it. I like it.
And when we destroy 40 million little innocent babies, we make God mad. And I believe that the pagans and the abortionists and the feminists and the gays and the lesbians who are actively trying to make that an alternative lifestyle, the ACLU, People for the American Way, and all of them who have tried to secularize America, I point the finger in their face and I say, you helped this happen.
I totally concur. And the problem is we have adopted that agenda at the highest levels of our government. Anytime you get away from God, you do become vulnerable. Bad judgment always leaves the door open for perpetrators of pain. End scene.
Oh, and you're absolutely right, Pat. In fact, allow me to stretch my butthole as wide open as I can get it. I don't know if you're aware of what a meme is. I'm assuming that I'm pronouncing that right. I do have my finger on the pulse of America, but I'm about to pull my butthole so far apart and forever become known as goats say. I just wanted to finish the quote out.
That was one that they tried to pull off of the record, but thankfully we have access to documents that not even the general public does. So.
We are the local media that takes men like this down.
We sure fucking are. See local KSL articles about bomb threats to the University of Utah by former FanX owners for more details on that. So, funny enough, remember how you said you might have to defend Bush? War criminal George W. Bush, who was a longtime supporter of Pat. Also, I should mention, when he dropped out of the presidential race for being fucking stolen valor asshole, he then went to his massive fucking following who was willing to vote for him and said, hey, y'all, I'm gonna need you to just vote for Bush. Thank you so much. God bless America. So he did that. So the Bush family has been like a big fan of him ever since. But and this is what I think is so funny. So like, W was always a big supporter of Pat, but had to like denounce the fucking 9/11 statement, obviously.
Oh my god,
But like, this just also goes to show how much of a fucking homie W was to him, because he wouldn't say it. He had his White House spokesperson come out and say it. So he said, quote, the president believes that terrorists are responsible for these acts.
Not God-hating America and abortionists. Yeah, okay.
He does not share those views and beliefs that those remarks are inappropriate. So, just a little.
Meanwhile, like, Bush is peeking behind his, like, mom's skirt, like, making sure that he's not going to be in too much trouble with his friend.
Know, he's like, I saw we Pat.
Can we still play after recess?
My mom said you come over.
My mom will bring me over if your mom take me home.
Sorry about what I had to say about 9/11. I sorry. I get what you're saying. I do. The terrorists are.
I just want my Game Boy back.
My mom said she'll give me the PlayStation if I say you were bad.
I can't breastfeed unless I do what they tell me to. Gross.
Oh my god. Okay. Speaking of gross, in recent years,
here we go.
Robertson, at the fucking horrible age of 89, defended Trump before the 2016 elections after a videotape emerged of Trump making vulgar comments about women, brushing it off as, quote, macho talk. Robertson compared Trump to a phoenix, saying, quote, they think he's dead. He comes back, and he came back stronger. He said on his show.
I feel like I'm watching like a Disney football movie. You know what I mean? Like,
as you should. Well, it's supposed to be like a good old Southern boy, right?
Yeah, it's like Remember the Titans. All the people are like, you won't win this football game if you support the abortionists, but God will provide. And you think we are dead, but we are phoenixes.
You're so right.
Like, that's it. That's like exactly like,
right. That is actually the story to Friday Night Lights.
Yeah, any fucking Southern football movie ever.
Oh, fucking man. So, in early October 2016, we may all remember a tape of Trump making vulgar comments about women. Quick summary of those comments. Quote, kissing women and grabbing their pussy without permission because he is attracted to them like a magnet. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. So, a few days later, Patty Boy jumped on the episode of the 700 Club in response to those remarks and said, quote, God, I don't know if I could do it for this long.
Yeah, that's a big paragraph.
I kind of lost it, too.
I don't even remember. I'm going to have to like go back and listen to like what my first accent was.
It's like I'm possessed. I have no control over it. I become possessed by whatever demon wants to take hold of my body at the time to do it. So.
I always just want to default to George and Camilla just talking about tampons. Where it's like, no, Like, that's all I want to do. And I'm trying to be creative, but
I
I'm
know.
not.
We have to we should take like a dialect class or something.
Yeah,
where
we
they
should.
teach you accents. I think that would be.
And then we should record it.
a good use of money.
I
So
agree.
let's face it, a guy does something 11 years ago. There was a conversation in Hollywood where he's trying to look like he's macho. And 11 years later, after that, they surface it from the Washington Post to whatever, bring it out within 30 days or so of the election. And this is supposed to be the death blow, and everyone writes him off. Okay, he's dead. Now you better go. You better get out. I don't know what he's saying here.
You better get out of the way and let Mike Pence run the campaign.
There you go.
Yeah.
Donald says no. The Donald says no. He's like the phoenix. They think he's dead. He comes back. And he came back so strong. So he won that debate. The next debate, we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, he speaks to adoring thousands wherever he goes.
I was like, hey, come back.
Yeah, you know he was because he's like getting all riled up on TV.
Yeah.
And just a fun little note here. After Bill Clinton's Monica Lewinsky scandal, Pat told those at the conference, a Christian conference in 98, that Clinton should be impeached. He accused Clinton of turning the Oval Office into a, quote, playpen for sexual freedom of the poster child of the 1960s. And he called Clinton a debauched, debased, and defamed leader. So
you can talk about it. You just can't be about it.
that's what I'm saying, though.
Gotcha, Pat. I see you.
Now, let's end this episode with a rapid-fire list of claims he's made.
Oh, you're going to have to do so many more impersonations.
God. May 19th, 1982, on the 700 Club, Pat says, I guarantee you, by the fall of 1982, there's going to be a judgment on the world. Surprise, if you're listening to this right now, there fucking was not. He credited his prayers for steering the course of Hurricane Gloria in 1985.
Huge if true.
Big, honestly, astronomical if true. March 23rd, 1995, Pat got on the 700 Club and stated that Hinduism is demonic and Islam is a satanic and violent political system bent on the overthrow of the government of the world and world domination. He elaborated with, quote, you're dealing with not just a religion, you're dealing with a political system. And I think we should treat it as such and treat its adherents as such as we would members of the Communist Party, members of some fascist group.
And he's definitely not talking about his own religion.
I know, right?
He takes the Bible literally.
Fucking.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
and where he wants to incorporate that into his presidency.
It's incredible.
Okay. I just want to make sure no one's being a hypocrite here.
Yeah, no. He would never, obviously.
Never. Okay.
He's a man of God. He would never.
Yeah.
He has denounced views of feminism, activism regarding the LGBTQ plus community, abortion, and liberal college professors.
Oh, what a fucking nerd, man.
Always, dude. Always a classic. He gained international beef for calling for the assassination of Hugo Chavez on the 700 Club, which... I mean, honestly, I want to criticize him for his calls of assassination, but if there's one thing I know about Old Testament God is that he wants to see a motherfucker die. He said that there was no room on the show for profiling people with progressive illness, who were overweight, had facial blemishes, used wheelchairs, crutches, were blind, or had blindness. That no disabilities that could not be healed, as Pat viewed people with such disabilities as failures of the faith, quote.
Meanwhile, he looks like he's made out of Play-Doh. But,
yeah.
I mean, that's none of my business.
Meanwhile, he looks like he looked into the Ark of the Covenant and is mid-melting. But yeah, okay, go off.
All right, Pat. Marion, we all know that's your real fucking name. You
yeah, you little fucking effeminate bitch. In October, honestly, why don't more people call him by his name? Because he hates it. His real name.
That's a flex.
That's how
everyone
we do
just
it.
call him Marion.
Yeah. In October 2003, while interviewing State Department critic Joel Mowbray about his book Dangerous Diplomacy, Pat suggested that destroying the Harry S. Truman building with a nuclear bomb would would enhance United States security by eliminating a nest of liberal traitors who secretly yearn for Islamic world domination.
That sounds like an episode we do on an
I know.
off day.
I know.
What in
I
the
also
world?
like the Harry S. Truman building. It's so it's the headquarters of the State Department in Washington, D.C. So just
Okay.
a little, just in case we were wondering
All right.
why he wanted to bomb that building.
All right, Marion.
Just so, yeah.
Do you.
On January 2nd, 2007, Pat said that God spoke to him and told him that, quote, mass killings were to come during 2007 due to a terrorist attack on the United States. He added, quote, the Lord didn't say nuclear, but I do believe it will be something like that.
And nothing happened.
Hey, you guys, again, if you're listening to this right now,
Yeah.
there's no nuclear attack in 2007. So, no.
Interesting.
You know, it's crazy.
So he's 0 for 5.
Dude, yeah. The 2010 earthquake in Haiti, he claimed was God's judgment because this is going to get rough, everyone. Haiti's founders had sworn a pact to the devil in order to liberate themselves from the French slave owners and indirectly attributed the earthquake to the consequences of the Haitian people being cursed for doing so. There's that. There's that one. Okay. He made comments recently that it would be understandable for someone to divorce a spouse with Alzheimer's.
That's definitely in the Bible.
Yeah, Jesus said.
Yeah, 100%. It's a commandment even.
Yeah, it's the 11th. If you look closely, it's there.
Yeah.
He's also claimed that he has the exact healing powers of God.
Not blasphemous at all.
I wouldn't say. In September of 2011, Pat predicted various dates for the world ending.
Still here,
again,
Pat.
Still here.
Don't make promises you can't deliver on, my
That's
guy.
what I'm saying. Don't fucking, get me riled up like that. You got to do it. It's enough of the foreplay. Give me the real dates. So, in March of 2015, he compared Buddhism to a disease, and we'll end with October 20th, 2020, with Pat saying, quote, but first of all, I want to say without question, Trump is going to win that election. There will be assassination attempts against Trump. And an asteroid will hit that could destroy the Earth.
And only Bruce Willis teaming up with Ben Affleck can save us.
That's true. That's true because in this reality, all of that didn't happen in real life. So the only semi-good news I have to share is that on October 1st of last year, at the ripe, rotten age of 91, Pat finally retired from the 700 Club, which also probably means he's going to die soon.
Predict that, Pat.
Yeah.
I wish a bitch would. Sometimes people just stick around.
Honestly, it's like the spite. It's the evil. It's pure evil. Sometimes people are so evil that they become immortal, I believe, and they live to be like 102.
Yeah. Like every evil stepmother in Disney is old as fuck.
Yeah,
they just live off hate. Look at Darth Maul going strong, man.
It's true. Nothing puts you back together more than hate. So yeah, there he is. There's your boy.
I didn't
Pat
like
Robertson.
it. I know. Like that.
It's not good. It's not. He's not good. He's not great. Yeah. If you want, he was another guy that was like tough to find like the good, hard, personal contradictions like against him. You know what I mean? From like people around him, because like the 700 Club has been around for so long and is like it's got so much dominating power that
and once you're in, you want to stay in because you're getting built, like you have access to $1 billion industry.
Yeah, and
you're not throwing away that money.
And it's just like everywhere. Like they just like with like any of these really rich televangelists, when you can find their controversies like written about by newspapers and stuff like that, but like finding people in their lives or people who have like worked for them, like coming out and talking about how horrible they were. There was another situation that I left out because there wasn't enough about it, but there were allegations made when he was back doing his quote military service between Japan and Korea, that he was in a Korean club and sexually assaulted a woman and was worried about he was worried that he had contracted gonorrhea from her. And the problem is like he's got so much power religiously with his organization, with his money, and also with his connections to like political,
he's
people and
untouchable.
affiliates.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like these like there's so many things that like get lost. And when you even think about the things that have come out that nothing has happened, like with the blood diamonds and the gold mines, and you're like, damn, and nothing happened then. Like, of course, these like other stories about like sexual assault go unheard of. So it was tough to find shit like that. Because for whatever reason, he hasn't like faced any like legal proceedings, whereas like other televangelists have at least been like investigated or threatened of investigation. And so they'll have like records of employees coming out and like talking about it. Like the closest thing you have are like pilots saying something, but it was immediately shut down and nothing
they're like,
came of it.
we carried equipment over. Like, is that the worst you got? I'm sure you have way worse.
And that's literally like the end, like period. They never came out and said anything else, and we don't know why. So, there you go. Woo, televangelists.
We're not even done yet.
I know.
It just keeps coming.
I do think there is light at the end of the tunnel, because if there is anything, there is a goal at the end of this. So we are going to suffer through televangelist to get to the pot of gold at the end of it, which is Tammy Faye.
Yeah.
And she is so important to talk about when it comes to not just like televangelism, but also someone who was fighting the good fight the whole time, truly, and was like a victim of her husband and would just spend the rest of her days advocating for like human rights and making amends with what she did. So to me, she's the only good example of a televangelist, and she wouldn't even consider herself one. She would consider herself a humanitarian first. So we'll get to that, but we have to trudge through the shit first to understand how severe and bad it all is. And
gotta
also
have manure before we get to the garden, man.
Yeah. And I just want everyone to enjoy the healthy shit sandwich that is religious corruption, which is my favorite treat. So speaking of treats, you can treat yourself to some of our merch, actually all of our merch. You should treat yourself to all of it, especially the Protect Trans Kids tee, which 100% of the proceeds go to trans organizations. And we have a bunch of other fucking cool merch in there. There's the Wanted Apostate, like Western photo that Kelly Halloran or at Wildwood Owl did, which is so fucking sick. Check that out. And you can find a link to our merch page in the link tree, which is in all of our bios. I'm at Noelle Fain. That is at Sithlard. That Chelsea is at Sithlard. And at Go to Hell Podcast for all of our socials. You'll find the link in there for the merch. It also has links to our Patreon, where $1 gets you in. You do sign an NDA, so remember, don't talk about it. Don't, unless you're in the Discord Patreon group where you can talk about it with other people who've also signed it. That's all we will allow. That's it. You can also find a link to check out Kelly Halloran or Wildwood Owl's Etsy page, where she has our stickers, our pins, our maybe a few bandanas left, and all her cool shit as well. You can join our Discord server, which is always a fun time. Our Facebook group, you can follow us on Twitter, and we also have links to Spotify and Apple Podcasts. But again, if you're listening to us now, I don't know why you need those, but they're there just in case. And I always want to encourage everyone, especially after we deal with these televangelism episodes, to hail Satan.
Hail those damn Jimmy Buffett Crocs, man. We need them.
Oh my god. Hail the Jimmy Buffett Crocs. And once again, if you live by a Croc store, I am a size 9 in women's, size 7 in men's. Chelsea is a size 8 in women's, size 6 in men's. We will pay you and send you podcast stuff. So holler at us. I'll be checking my message requests for the next few days. It's a case. Please. So, that's
it. You just gave the full spiel.
Yep,
Let's get the AG double hockey sticks out of here.
Yep. Adios.